Please be seated, folks. Good evening. I'm Jack Wayden Allen. I am the Dean of the Texas Tech University School of Law, and I'd like to welcome you to our May 2026 commencement ceremony. Now, the hooding ceremony is always a very special occasion, one that marks a major professional milestone in the lives of our graduates. Our students, after years of hard work, determination, and endless hours of study, have made it at last. Let's offer them our congratulations. And to the friends and families of our students, let me say I know how incredibly proud you must be today. It's your unwavering support that helped these students reach this moment. Thank you for all you've done to make their journey possible. Let's have a round of applause for all the family and friends. It's now my pleasure to recognize the special guests we will hear from today. Texas Tech System Board of Regents member Clay Cash. Let's give him a round of applause. Texas Tech University President Lawrence Skuvenek. Student Bar Association President Ariana Marin. Our keynote speaker, class of 1981 graduate Jerry Dixon. And our elected class speaker down in the audience, Jonathan Gabehart. Thank you to all of the speakers for being with us today. I also want to take a moment to recognize other members of our stage party. We have Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Jared Gonzalez. And Associate Dean for Student Life, Sophia Rodriguez-Chapman. Now today is a big day, and let me take a moment to say to our students, you're about to become graduates. And we are so, so proud of you. And as you move today from law students to law graduates, remember you will always be part of the Texas Tech Law family. Please stay in touch, reach out whenever you need anything, and know that we are always here to help you and to cheer you on from success to success. And one more thing, in July, wreck that bar exam. We know you can do it. Let's have a round of applause. At this point, we will hear from Regent Clay Cash, then President Lawrence Skuvenek, and then SBA President Ariana Marin. They will share their greetings with our graduates and guests. Regent Cash.
What a great day to be a Red Raider. Are y'all excited? Well, good deal. Well, good evening and welcome to the hooding ceremony of the Texas Tech University School of Law. On behalf of the Texas Tech System Board of Regents, I am honored to recognize and celebrate our graduates today. You have earned this achievement through hard work and determination, and we're all very proud of you. And to our family, friends, and faculty and staff, thank you for the role that you've played in supporting each of these graduates and helping them reach this milestone. The TTU system is very proud of Texas Tech School of Law and its outstanding graduates who exemplify excellence in their field and bring pride and prestige to the entire system. Over 3 years ago, each of you made a decision to attend law school here in Lubbock. These past years have undoubtedly been some of the most challenging of your lives, but your hard work, dedication have led you to finish what you started. This incredible journey. Know that your time here has prepared you well for life's challenges. As many of you go on to be attorneys and judges and advocates, public servants, leaders in your family, community, organizations, and businesses, you'll leave your mark on our state, our nation, and our world. You're entering a profession built just not on the knowledge of law, but the responsibility to uphold it. No matter where your path leads you, remember the values instilled in you during your time here. Strive for honor. For if what you do will always find success in meaningful differences in the lives of others. Congratulations to each and every one of you. May God bless each and every one of you, and wreck 'em.
Thank you, Regent Cash. Graduates of the Texas Tech University School of Law of 2026, congratulations. Parents, family, friends, faculty, thank you for the role that you played in making their achievement possible. All of us take pride and pleasure in sharing this occasion with you, but above all, this is your moment. In our ceremonies this week at Texas Tech, we have recognized nearly 6,000 graduates. Those Red Raiders came from 49 states and 60 countries around the world. That speaks to the reach and the reputation of our university, and I have no doubt with the stories that you will write, that reputation will grow even more. Graduates were as young as 18, and one who pursued her degree later in life was 68. That range alone tells us something meaningful. There is no single path to this moment. Each of you brought a different story, a different timeline, and a different determination to get here. But what you share is a level of commitment and perseverance that distinguishes those who earn a Doctor of Jurisprudence. You will be part of a profession that not only affects lives in a very personal way, but also many aspects of our society. That is an important and an honorable characteristic of your profession. And as you step into whatever comes next, I would like to leave you with a little challenge and words of encouragement. Be grateful for what got you here and proud of what you accomplished. As you attain success in your career, always remember that character, the way you treat people, your honesty, your principles, that is what will define your life. In a world that is overflowing often with noise, those who speak honestly and act with principle will always rise above the rest. You are a proud member of the Texas Tech lawyers who are known for doing just that. Carry that Red Raider spirit in your heart. To the class of May 2026, I offer my heartfelt congratulations and best wishes for success. Go Tech.
I'm a little bit shorter than them. Good evening and welcome to the distinguished faculty, proud parents, honored guests, and the class of 2026. I would like to begin by thanking some very important people in my life. First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for leading me down a path I never would have chosen for myself, but one that has changed me in ways that I could not have imagined. To my parents, who, between the two of them, fought and beat cancer twice and endured a heart transplant just to be here today. I would not be standing here today without your unconditional love, sacrifice, and support. Thank you for always answering my late night FaceTimes where you had to talk me off the ledge from dropping out and opening my own bakery. To my 3 brothers, my sisters-in-law, my family, and my friends, thank you for showing up for me when I always needed it. Your love, support, and occasional reminder that there is life outside of the library has kept me going. I would also like to thank Dean Nowlin, Dean Chapman, Sean Adams, the Office of Student Life, and every single professor that has supported me during my time here at Tech. You took a scared first-generation law student and helped shape her into someone who believes that she belongs here. Thank you as well to the family and friends who traveled near and far to be here with us today. This milestone belongs to you just as much as it belongs to us. And finally, to my executive board, Mary Ricker, Jesse Slayton, and Jonathan Gapehart, thank you for being a constant source of encouragement and guidance and calm during this past year. I couldn't have done it without you. It took me a long time to write this speech, mostly because it turns out it's very hard to condense 3 years of cold calls, late nights, stress, doubt, growth, and caffeine dependency into just a few minutes, but I'll try my best. I still remember the first day of orientation. We were all dressed in business professional, carrying that unmistakable light in our eyes that law school had not yet taken away from us. There was an excitement in the air, and if we were being honest, we probably were obnoxious, telling absolutely anyone and everyone that would listen that we were law students. Actually, some of us probably still do that. I don't know about everyone else, but over the past 3 years, law school has reshaped how I carry myself, how I speak, and most importantly, how I listen. Law school teaches you many things. It teaches you how to think critically, how to argue both sides of an issue, and how to pretend you read all 100 pages when you definitely did not. Section 2 knows what I'm talking about. It also teaches humility. Nothing builds character quite like confidently answering a professor's cold call, only to realize halfway through you're completely wrong. As we graduate, we are entering a profession that no one really likes, but everyone absolutely needs. Whether you're headed into big law to work on million-dollar mergers or to a public defender's office to represent indigent clients, what you do and how you do it matters. Some people may not think that lawyers make much of a difference, and sure, we're not curing cancer, but we matter deeply to the people that we serve. We may be the only attorney a client ever speaks to, the only attorney that they ever hire. On what might be the worst day of their life, they come to us, hoping, trusting, and believing that we can make a difference, and that matters. We have the privilege of upholding the rule of law, defending the Constitution, and protecting the rights of others. That is not nothing. So, as we leave tech law and scatter near and far, remember the responsibility and the privilege that comes with this profession. My mom always used to say that nothing worth having comes easy, and after 3 years, I think we can all agree that she was absolutely right. Growing up, my family spent every Friday night watching movies, mostly because we were far too competitive to play board games like a normal family. One of our favorites was The Count of Monte Cristo, and while it's nothing like the 1,400-page classic, one line has always stayed with me. After being betrayed and cheated, the main character offers this advice. Life is a storm, my young friend. You will bask in the sunlight one moment, be shattered on the rocks the next. What makes you a man is what you do when that storm comes. You must look into that storm and shout, "Do your worst, for I will do mine." Although I promised my clinic classmates that I wouldn't mention it, I fully expect the bar exam to be one of those storms. But regardless of what comes next, we have already proven that we can endure, adapt, and rise. We have earned this moment, so tonight, celebrate it, be proud of it, and never forget how hard you worked to be here today. Congratulations to the class of 2026. We did it.
Let's have another big round of applause for Ariana. We have such a wonderful keynote speaker for you today, Jerry Dixon, class of 1981. Jerry has spent more than 4 decades building an incredible legal career, one defined by professionalism, leadership, service, and mentorship. In fact, Jerry is known as a lawyer's lawyer. He's a founding shareholder of Dixon Scholl Carrillo in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he's built an outstanding litigation practice. Jerry's handled more than 750 professional liability cases, representing everyone from attorneys and accountants to architects, engineers, and contractors in very complex litigation. He's a widely recognized leader in the areas of professional liability, ethics, and risk management. In fact, Best Lawyers in America for nearly 20 years has recognized Jerry as a top practitioner in professional malpractice law, and he's been named Lawyer of the Year multiple times. His leadership within the legal profession has been equally remarkable, serving as president of the Albuquerque Bar Association, president of the State Bar of New Mexico, and president of the New Mexico State Bar Foundation. Jerry was also recognized by our law school in 2014 as a Distinguished Service Award recipient. Jerry's legal career started early, reportedly. In fact, Jerry successfully defended himself in his very first case, we hear, at just 8 years old after being wrongly told he could not ride a bus. Before law school, Jerry was also a proud member of the Texas Tech Going Band. And while playing trombone on a trip to a TCU football game, he met his wonderful wife, Deborah, on bus number 6. no doubt displaying his advocacy skills along the way. As a student at Texas Tech Law, Jerry served on the Law Review. He was inducted into the Order of Barristers and was recognized by Phi Delta Phi for his outstanding achievements as a law student. Those Texas Tech Law relationships and experiences have clearly stayed with him. Jerry, throughout his career, has remained deeply committed to legal education and to our law school. He's worked hard to ensure that later generations of law students have even more opportunities than he had back in the day. And he continues to serve Texas Tech, currently as secretary of the Texas Tech Foundation Board and as a member of the Law School's Foundation Board. Jerry's career is a powerful reminder that the practice of law is about achievement. It's also about service, leadership, character, and lifting up others along the way. As Dean, it is my privilege and my honor to welcome Jerry Dixon as this year's commencement keynote speaker. Big round of applause for Jerry Dixon.
Thank you. Dean Allen, Regent Cash, President Skuvenik, Associate Dean Gonzalez, Associate Dean Chapman, SBA President Marin. Esteemed faculty, honored families, and proud families, and friends here, and most importantly to you, the 57th graduating class of Texas Tech School of Law. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here, and I'm so grateful to Dean Allen asking me to speak this evening. I want to start with a portion of a poem. It's short, and I heard it a number of years ago, as I'll explain, but it has stayed with me for a long time. For each is given a bag of tools, an hourglass, and a book of rules, and each shall have built, when their time has flown, a stumbling block or a stepping stone. 45 years ago today, it's a little touching to get back to that. 45 years ago today, May 16th, 1981, I sat where you were sitting and graduated from this law school, and it is good to be home. My good friend then and now, and our classmate David Weinstein, spoke as the student representative for our class at our graduation and read those same 4 lines. I've been thinking about them ever since Dean Allen kindly asked me to speak with you today. I want to use that poem as a stepping stone, if you will, for my talk this evening. It's part of a poem by R.L. Sharp that was written back in the 1800s. It's just 4 lines, but in it, he captures the essence of your career and mine and of every lawyer who's ever sat in the seats you're sitting in right now. A bag of tools, an hourglass, a book of rules, and a choice. Stumbling block or stepping stone. Today I want to talk about the tools, specifically 4 of them, and I promise not one of them are going to be in your bar prep materials. What tools does a lawyer actually need? Not those that we've learned in school, Westlaw, ChatGPT, Galshi, but the tools for the human being behind the JD. There's 141 graduates this evening. I'd like you to think of me not as your guest speaker, but as class member number 142, sharing the tools I've learned over the last 45 years. This profession is challenging. There will be long days, difficult clients, decisions that will keep you up at 3 in the morning. The practice of law is a marathon, not a sprint. The lawyers who flourish are not those who are fastest out of the gate. They are the ones who pace themselves and understand that careers and reputations are built across decades. Don't get me wrong, I love the practice of law. It's probably part of the reason I'm still practicing. My wife might tell you I love the law a little too much. You're supposed to laugh. But when I graduated, I got married during my 3rd year. We had been married 6 months and 28 days when we graduated. Today, I want to share with you the 4 tools for that road ahead: a level, a set of binoculars, Mother Goose Rhymes book, and a Frisbee. I know. Stay with me. So let's talk about tool number 1. That's the level. Now, most people call these props. As lawyers now, you would call these demonstrative exhibits, right? Okay. My contractor brother, and I have to tell you, all 3 of my brothers are here this evening. My contractor brother tells me that it shows this, if the surface is in the bubble between the lines, that's level. When you're measuring it vertically, if it's in the bubble between the lines, then it's plumb. You know, the one thing about a level is it doesn't fudge, it doesn't flatter. The bubble either sits in the middle or it doesn't. You're about to enter a profession that will test your level every day. Clients will come to you convinced that they are entirely in the right. Sometimes they are. Often they are not. Your job is not to validate their certainty. Your job is to hold up that level and tell them what you see. Sometimes that means telling them something that they don't want to hear. This level can also be thought of in another way. Look, this profession has a burnout problem. It has a substance abuse problem. It has a mental health problem. Those aren't comfortable words to say at a graduation, but they're words that you and your families need to be aware of. A life outside the bubble eventually tips over, and so can you. Building 60 hours a week, week after week, while relationships deteriorate and collapse is not success. It is a stumbling block in slow motion. The lawyers who last are the ones who understand that a balanced life is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Let me tell you a story about my grandfather, if you will. His name was Ganyo Belchev. He immigrated to the United States in late 1907 from Bulgaria. After days of processing at Ellis Island, the last thing he had to go through was the line to show that he was financially responsible. That was a requirement under the 1882 Immigration Act. He had to show that he had $20 in order to be financially responsible. As he stood in line, he counted his money and he had $19. $1 short to get him across the ocean that he had just crossed to come into America. The stranger in front of him loaned him $1. He got through, but in the chaos, he lost sight of that man who had loaned him $1. For the rest of his life, my grandfather carried a dollar bill folded up in the back of his wallet, not to spend, but just in case he ever found that man that had loaned him the $1. That is the level. That is living inside the bubble. You're going to face moments in your career, and they will come quietly, without fanfare, where the ethical choice costs you something and the easier choice costs you nothing visible. No one's watching, no one will care, no one will know. When that happens, remember the dollar, because the person that it matters most to is the one that you look at in the mirror every morning. Keep your level, use it often on your cases, on your clients, and most importantly, on yourself. Tool number 2, the binoculars. You know, binoculars help you see things more clearly, and they can also bring distant things up close. These are important, and they're different than any other kind of lenses because there's 2 of them. And if those lenses are not aligned, you're either seeing double or it's blurry. The best lawyers I have known are the ones that have the ability, among almost all others, is they can genuinely see the other side. They pick up the binoculars and look through the lenses, and they understand what the opposing party's case is about, why they believe it, and what they believe. And that understanding, that objectivity, is incredibly powerful in a courtroom. And it's an invaluable tool at a negotiating table. Also, the best lawyers aren't just solving the problem for their client today. They are using the binoculars to look ahead. How does this contract affect my client 5 years down the road? How does this plea deal impact my client and their family tomorrow, next year, the year after? Keep that image in mind. You will need it in the tough times. All right. Sorry, Richmond. Mother Goose. I know you just survived 3 years of law school. You're about to take one of the most difficult professional exams there is, and I'm showing you a children's book. Here's why. Mother Goose rhymes are deceptively simple. A boy and a girl go up a hill. Bo Peep has lost her sheep. A dish is chasing a spoon. An egg falls off the wall. Silly, right? But those rhymes have survived for centuries. And because they carry something real about human nature, simple on the cover, complex underneath. Sound familiar? Like a statute or a case? I see some nods. What I'm really giving you with this book also is a reminder to stay curious. Keep learning. They say knowledge is power. I say they're right. The lawyers who flourish never stop being a student. I encourage you to be a lifelong learner, to stay humble, stay curious, and keep reading, even if it's Mother Goose. And develop your own voice, your style, your approach, your communication ability that is distinctly yours. Finally, my favorite tool, the Frisbee. There is an indisputable law of physics that no amount of legal education can overcome. You cannot play Frisbee alone. It takes 2. You have to have someone to throw it to, and that person has to throw it back. Likewise, your career will be built upon relationships, not Instagram or LinkedIn relationships, real personal relationships. And I don't mean to disparage those. I'm just saying real personal relationships are so critical for your good health. Like the mentor who you call at 10 o'clock at night and she takes your call because you're in a panic about your first trial tomorrow. The opposing counsel who you treat with respect and 15 years later calls to refer you the biggest case of your career. The colleague who you helped once when they were in a crisis and who will be there to help you when you have yours. My advice to you, seek out mentors. They exist, and they remember what it felt like when they were sitting in the chair you're in right now. The legal profession can make you feel like it's you and your laptop against the world if you let it. Do not let it. And the Frisbee teaches one more lesson. Exercise, fun, joy. Look, a Frisbee is not serious. It's played barefoot in the park with friends and family. There's a quote at a bowling alley where I grew up in Santa Fe that said, "The work of the world is better done by those who have learned to play." In 40 plus years of representing lawyers, I have learned that healthy lawyers are far less likely to experience the things I spoke about before if they play, if they exercise, if they have fun. As you leave this arena today, each of you will be handed this really cool Frisbee that says, "Congrats, class of 26. And Cindy and Sean or somebody will be giving it to you as you walk out. It's a gift from me as a memento of this tonight and the message. Now, let's get back to the poem. You have the Book of Rules. This is the Federal Rules of Evidence. You have that. You've been studying for 3 years to learn the rules. What determines whether you build stepping stones or stumbling blocks is not your intelligence or your education. It is your character, just as President Skuvenik just said. It is whether you keep your level calibrated. It is whether you look through both lenses, whether you're a lifelong learner, and whether you throw the Frisbee. So now you have the tools, a level to keep your life and your practice balanced in the bubble, binoculars to see both sides clearly and to keep your eyes on the horizon, Mother Goose to remind you to stay curious and be a lifelong learner, and a Frisbee because your relationships and your joy are not a distraction from your career. They are the foundation of it. A lot has certainly changed in the practice of law in 45 years, but there are a few things that are constant. What matters most and what will matter most are not the cases that you win. What will matter is the people you serve, the relationships that you build across your career, and the moments that you did the right thing when it would have been easier not to. All right, I'm going to try something here. Dean Allen, would you loan me $1? More than 100 years ago, my grandfather was loaned $1 by a stranger. $1 so he could begin his life in this country. He honored that debt for the rest of his life. Today, this law school just loaned me $1. And it reminds me that even after 45 years, this institution still stands behind its graduates. The same is true for each of you. The dean, the faculty, the administration, the staff, the alumni of this law school, including this one, they're not simply handing you a diploma and sending you on your way tonight, out alone. They are invested in your journey. When the marathon gets hard, you have people behind you here that want you to succeed. Please do not forget that, and do not be too proud to call. That, my friends, is what stepping stones are made of. Now, go build something worth standing on. Congratulations, class of 26. You've earned every moment today. I wish you so much more than success. Reckham.
That was wonderful. Let's have one big round of applause, one more round of applause for Jerry Dixon. At this time, Associate Dean Sophia Chapman will lead the recognition of our graduating class.
We will now recognize the graduates of the class of 2026. Roger Walter Garcia Advincula. Eshan Ali. Stuart Charles Anderson. Callahan Ashley Ard. Tyson Reese Arnold. Bension Aaron. Eden Grace Bobovic. Samuel Dinkin Banks. Caleb M. Barkman. Rachel Lee Banky. Lauren Elizabeth Berry. David Lawrence Joseph Berta. Alexander John Blakely. Robert Newton Bland V. Anthony A. Bomar. Marcus Bennett Bramer. Jasper L. Breitenbach. Calvin Marshall Brigman. Sam A. Brocado. Jace Dalton Brown. Jonah Gabriel Birch. Brandon Aaron Byington. Brendan Carter. Jesse S. Costella. Jeremy D. Coe. Joshua Reed Conley. Carly Ann Cooper. Margaret Culver. Pollock DeVay. Jeffrey Paul Davis. Jordan Mackenzie Deanda. Connor Liam Doris. Sarah Nicole Farnsley. Gregory S. Ferrer. Victoria Rachel Fincher. Derek Benedict Fisher. Ellie Mae Fisher. Franco Flores. Cornelius Patton Foxworth II. Chance Allen Frazier. Jonathan Paul Frederick Gabehart. Marley Carr Gamble. Leah Ashton Garcia. Maya J. Garcia. Melanie Grace Gatica. Maxwell David Gaister. Brendan Arthur Gilbreth. Isabella Lee Galemi. Emma Golightly. Jacob M. Gomez. Maddie Elizabeth Greenemeyer. Troy Lyle Greenemeyer. Emmanuel Christine Harrison. Thomas James Harwood. Dawson Allen Hebert. Cheyenne Atesh Heckel. Bodine Nicole Henderson. Matthew Henry. Judith Hernandez. Jacob Sterling Hill. Tiffany Hinojosa. I miss Josefina. Maria Celeste Resendez House. Josie Bell Hudson. Sophia Elena Jenkins. Alyssa Taylor Johnson. Franklin Jones III. Sean R. Kent. Christopher Kerr. Kashmala Sarah Khan. Clifford T. King. Maximilian Lawrence Kester. Aaron Philip Kruger. Haley Madison Kirkendall. Grace Un Lee. Stephen Ray Lindsay. Haley Nicole Lowry. Anna Mackenzie Malco. Travis Ross Malone. Ariana Elena Marin. Hayden Matthew Marriott. Robert Anthony Martinez. Shireen Ann Matthews. Samuel P. Masheri. Rollins E. B. Mayfield. Lauren Ann McFall. Matthew Aaron McGuire. Michael Edward McCroy. Decorian Lavarn Menifee. Kristen R. Muir. Caitlin Diane Myers. Allison Rose Monticelli. Emily J. Moreno. Mason Cade Moresco. Abigail Grace Morton. McKenna Joy Moyer. Logan C. Murphy. Hannah Lynn Napier. Ryder Chance Needham. Michaela M. Oliver. Cynthia Anaí Palacios. Cole Andrew Palmer. Catherine Coe Payne. Mabry Payne Scheffler. Destiny L. Pemberton. Bridget Eileen Pembroke. Tristan Ryder Perez. Robert Bronson Phillips. Mary Ricker. Ileana Lisette Rios. Andrew Buck Ritchie. Amabilia Machi Rivera. Emily Ann Robbins. David James Russell. Diana Lisbeth Sainz. Ángel Isaac Salcido Padilla. Anna Christian Schultz. Caleb Anthony Shetler. Zachary Connor Sims. Grace Genevieve de Barbara Slaughterbeck. Jesse Elijah Slayton. Charlotte Ann Smalley. Scott Andrew Stallcup. Micah Mackenzie Stevens. Luke Allen Stump. Talon David Tyrone. Henry A. Texey. Catherine Kristen Tondry. Juan Daniel Torres Monroy. Luke T. Ursone. Clarisa Angelica Valenciano. Holland Taylor Van Hamert. Emily Walden. Ian Cameron Wallace. Autumn Lynn Watterson. Cabron M. Wills. Ashanti Kiera Wilson Bishop. Kayla Leanne Wolf. Madison Eileen Wright. Benjamin Morton Wolf. Caden Paul Wyatt. I proudly present to you the class of 2026. Congratulations! Your hard work, perseverance, and determination have brought you to this moment, and we are incredibly proud of each and every one of you. It is now my pleasure to invite this year's elected class speaker, Jonathan Gabehart, to the stage to address his fellow graduates.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here among family and friends to celebrate the amazing accomplishments of the TTU Law Class of 2026. To start, I have a few thank yous. First and foremost, I give all thanks and glory to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I am deeply grateful to my wife, Jillian, whose love and dedication carry me every day, and to all my friends and family who have poured so much into me. Finally, thank you to the amazing professors and staff who have dedicated their careers to shaping the lawyers before us. Ariana did a fabulous job highlighting all that we've accomplished over the past 3 years, so I won't rehash that. Instead, I wanted to offer a brief look forward, sharing a few words of wisdom that have shaped me. As with most wisdom, we either learn it through making the mistakes ourselves or by listening to others, and my hope is to offer the latter. My theme and roadmap today is identity, with 2 parts. First, its source, and second, the impact of where we place it. As to its source, sitting here today, lawyers and non-lawyers alike, we recognize that we live in a broken world. One reason why many of us became lawyers. And yet, we often look to that same world to define our identity, to chase money, prestige, respect. But why? Even when we reach those milestones, the goalposts move. Once I make this much, or once I reach this level, there's always another step. That cannot be the answer. My argument would be that true fulfillment comes from something outside of ourselves, through faith, family, and community. We see this even at the highest levels. The #1 golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler, reflected that after achieving everything he'd worked so hard for, it didn't fulfill him. The joy of winning quickly fades, and he's replaced by the next question, what's next? Tom Brady said something similar after winning his 3rd Super Bowl. Why do I have 3 Super Bowl rings and still think there's something greater out there? There's got to be more than this. We've even felt this ourselves. At one point, getting into law school felt like everything. Now it's graduation, and soon we'll ask, what's next? These experiences show us that the world can't give you joy and peace, but that also means it can't take it away. Many in our class have experienced great joy or great sorrow during these past 3 years, and we still push through. In those moments, when holding a new baby or saying goodbye to a loved one, what mattered most? Not money, not accolades. It was presence. It was people. It's not your biggest clients or your law partners that you want by you in those moments. As Paul writes, imprisoned, I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Now to impact. What does this mean going forward? It may be tempting to want to set ourselves apart, to pursue perfection or dominance in our careers. But as the wisest man who ever lived said, we should count the cost. Before building something or going after something, we should consider what it requires and whether the life we are building will lead us truly where we want to go. A simple story illustrates this. A fisherman sitting in a pub one evening was approached by an investor who, the investor curious, asked him, what do you do every day? He says, I go out every morning and fish, come in the afternoon, have lunch with my wife, go out in the evening, and stop here at the pub before going home. And the investor said, no, you have it all wrong. What you should do instead is scale up your enterprise. Create a huge fleet under you, then you can do whatever you want. And the investor, curious, asks, what would you do with all of that time? And the fisherman thought for a moment and said, I would go out in the morning and fish, and come in the afternoon and have lunch with my wife, and then go back out in the evening and stop here before my day ends. The point of this is simple. The world asks us to add without increasing anything. We add stress, responsibility, and complexity without gaining anything meaningful in return. Choose your hard. It's hard to feel like you are providing enough. It's also hard to step away from work to be present with the people that you love. The question is, where are you getting a return on your time? Your headstone will not say JD on it. The most important titles you will hold are dad, mom, son, daughter, sibling, and spouse. These relationships carry lasting value. You can be the fisherman. Serving others is noble, but don't lose sight of who you are doing it for. Even in service, we must guard against losing ourselves in the process. As Professor Benham once told me, if being a better father, mother, sibling, or spouse means that you will be a little bit worse of a lawyer, that trade-off will always be worth it. To conclude, this year marks 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. As a nation, we've come a long way, but there's still work to do in making real the promise that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. As lawyers, that responsibility now falls to us to continue to fighting for a more perfect union. To close, I would like to share St. Thomas More's A Lawyer's Prayer. Lord, grant that I may be able in argument, accurate in analysis, strict in study, candid with clients, and honest with my adversaries. Sit with me at my desk and listen with me to my clients' plaints. Read with me in my library and stand beside me in court, so that today I shall not, in order to win a point, lose my soul. Congratulations all, God bless you, and Reckham.
Let's have another big round of applause for Jonathan. Thank you all for the privilege of sharing this day with you, and congratulations again to the class of 2026. Families, we ask that you remain seated during the recessional exit of the stage party. Faculty, hooders, and students then exit the building and head north to the north end to meet and congratulate your graduate. Best wishes to you all. Have a wonderful evening. Go Tech, wreck 'em, and guns up forever. One last big round of applause for our students.